Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 114 of the Ask the Coach show, where PingSkills answers your table tennis questions. The main draw for the 2015 ITTF World Table Tennis Championships is out, so we'll discuss what this means for the top contenders. In questions from our PingSkillers, we'll talk about homemade blades and if they're legal, how to clean your table tennis table, Wang Hao's incredible forehand against Chop, and how to approach off-season training. I'm Jeff Plum, and with me as always is Super Coach Alois Rosario. Welcome, Alois.
Morning, Jeff, and how is everything this morning?
Yep, everything is good, Alois. In non-table tennis news, over the weekend, the world Rubik's Cube record was broken. It's now down to 5.25 seconds. Colin Burns from the USA. What's that, Alois?
Was it you? Was it
No,
you?
it wasn't me. It was Colin Burns from the USA.
Wow, okay.
Yep, pretty exciting stuff. So go check it out on YouTube. Impressive. But in table tennis news, Alois, let's just quickly get into the PingSkills questions of the day. And Friday's PingSkills question of the day was, what has been your favorite World Table Tennis Championship so far?
Yeah, for me, just because I was there, I suppose the '87 Worlds when Waldner played Zhang Zique in the final. Zhang Jialiang, not Zhang Zique. Zhang Zique wasn't born. Zhang Jialiang in the final. It probably stands out in my memory as just the final with the old dog, already having won World Championships, playing the very young Waldner as he was just coming up. Yeah, for me that was probably the highlight. But what about you, Jeff?
I guess it shows we're getting older, isn't it? That we like the older ones, but I really like the 1989 World Championships. It was kind of the first one I'd seen, and they produced all these videos. Like back then, you didn't have YouTube. Can you imagine? So there's all these videos of it, so you got to watch it in detail. So that one really stands out in my mind, where Waldner beat Person in the final. There you go. Sorry, Alice.
That was a big. And was that when the Germans won the doubles as well? I think '89.
It was indeed,
so.
Yes.
Yeah, so Roscoff and Spetzner won the doubles, and Roscoff now the coach of the German national team as well. So yeah,
there you go. All right, so the PingSkillers question of the day for today is, who has the best draw in the men's singles at the World Championships? So jump on our website, pingskills.com, and leave a comment. And to help you out with that, we're going to talk about the seedings, not the seedings. We're actually going to talk about the draw, which has been done now, Alois.
Yeah, it has. So the seeds have been put into place now in the draw, and so a couple of interesting matchups, I suppose. So Ma Long is the top seed, and he will come up against Ju Se-hyuk in the last 16. Peng Teng from Hong Kong will come up against Ovcharov in the last 16, and then Bowl plays. Let me just have a quick look. Bowl plays Chuntin Wong from Hong Kong, and then Koki Niwa comes up against Fanzhen Dong. So they're all in the top half of the draw. So that's all pretty interesting. With so Fanzhen Dong and Timo Boll and Ma Long all in the same half of the draw. Then Zhang Zique is in the same half as Zhu Xin, so they're due to meet in the semi-finals. Looking through the other names in that draw, Fang Bo's also in that bottom half. Chuang Chi Yuan's in the bottom half, and Marcos Freitas and Jun Mizutani down there too. So yeah, some good names, but you'd probably think that the two Chinese players are going to face off in that semi-final there.
Interesting. Yep. And any big surprises on the women's side of the draw?
No real surprises. So Ding Ning, the number 1 seed, and she'll come up again in the semi-final. She's drawn against. Let me just have a quick look down. So she's got Feng Tian Wei from Singapore in the semi-final. So that's fairly interesting. And Li Jiajia is in the same half as Liu Shiwen. So in the bottom half as well. So again, it's hard to look past those players when you're looking at the draw. You know, Ai Fukuhara is in the bottom half. The Japanese player Mima Ito also in that bottom half. So you know they could match up against each other somewhere down the line. So that would be interesting. You know, the new young gun versus the old young gun.
Indeed.
Yeah. So I think Mima Ito at 14 is the same age as Ai Fukuhara was when she played her first World Championships as well. So yeah, an interesting comparison.
Indeed. All right. So after you've heard that, make up your mind and let us know who you think has got the best draw. Jump onto pingskills.com and let us know.
And probably one of the most interesting things is come up in the men's doubles draw. So we know that Timo Boll and Ma Long are playing with each other. So that's been an exciting feature of the Worlds coming up for us. But they are drawn in the second round against Zhu Xin and Zhang Jike. So yeah, so that is pretty tough. And they're up against the number 1 seeds. And the number 1 seeds are from Taipei. But it's not the Taipei pair that won the Worlds last time. It's Chiang Hong Shi and Huang Sheng from Taipei. So they are ranked 70 and 77 in the world in singles, but they are the number 1 seeds in the doubles. And they're in the same half as, you know, Boll, Ma Long, Zhang Jike, Zhu Xin. So, yeah, really interesting. You know, we've talked a bit about the draw for the men's doubles and how they do it. So that's really thrown up some interesting combinations there with the Chinese pair up against Boll and Ma Long in the second round. And we assume that they'll get to the second round. We don't know the final qualifiers as yet. So the qualification tournament is just underway. Started yesterday in the singles and will conclude today. So, yeah, really interesting. Then the main draw of singles starts tomorrow, the 28th. So depending on where you are, but yeah, it starts on the 28th, so which is Tuesday. So all interesting stuff. So the world's really starting to take shape, I suppose, you know, with the qualification matches in place and the qualifiers starting to be decided and where they'll get put into the draw. But yeah, really interesting.
Certainly is. So, yeah, we'll put some links in the show notes so you can go straight to the ITTF World Table Tennis Championship page and check it all out. Make sure you do, and make sure you watch ITTV. Going to be some great matches on there. Very exciting times.
Yeah, so I was watching a bit on ITTV last night, and yeah, there's eight channels going already. It was the women's singles qualification matches, and I was just sort of flipping between all 8 channels and just seeing who's playing. So yeah, it'll be interesting stuff once the main draw starts, definitely.
Yeah, you need to get yourself 8 monitors, Alois, and then you can watch them all at once.
That's what I need to do.
Indeed. All right. Let's move on to some questions from our PingSkillers, Alois. Brock has jumped online, and anyone can jump online and use the Google Q&A app to ask us a question live on the show. And he says, hey, PingSkills, I think I have a new rival. He's an experienced player with a scary power in his forehand and backhand, and he does a really spinny serve. And when I block it, he does a loop into my backhand fast. If I possibly block it, he does a smash or topspin. Help.
Okay, new rival for Brocky. Great to hear. So let's think about when you're trying to stop a good attacking player from playing. What you need to do is to keep that ball a bit shorter, lower, close to the net, so they don't get that opportunity to attack. The other thing to think about is to place the ball into difficult positions for them if you're blocking. So if they've got a strong forehand, we want to try to maneuver it around so that eventually they've got to play a backhand and play on their weaker side. If they've got a strong forehand and backhand, then we need to think about tying them up so that they need to move a lot. So into the middle is often good, where they've got to make that decision between the forehand and backhand, or playing the ball wide, making them move. So often these players are really good if you give them just a little bit of time and if you put the ball up a little bit higher. So if you can keep that ball lower, keep it into difficult positions into the elbow, out wide, make them move, then sometimes their game breaks down. So yeah, good. You got a new rival. Let's go.
Indeed. Yep. And and just keep working on your own attack also, Brock, because if you can, serve a short backspin serve and get a good third ball attack in, it's going to be hard for those type of players too. Next question is from Daniel, who's also jumped online and asked a question with the Google Q&A app. So thanks, Daniel. He says, hey, glad you're back. Good news. He says, I've committed to the game in January because I lost to the same friend every time for 2 years. He beats everyone. Hard work, dedication. I finally beat him in 4 straight games. As I left, he stood on his porch in awe. Lost. Thanks for all the help.
Wow, more good news. Excellent. Well done, Daniel. Yeah, and it's a matter of persevering, training. If you're doing that, if you're improving your technique and your skills, your game will improve and you'll start to get good results. Fantastic news, Daniel. Well done.
Excellent. Well done, Daniel, and thanks for sharing your story. Okay, next question is from Yunge, who says, is it legal to use homemade blades in tournaments?
Yeah, it is. So by blades, what we mean is the wood. So there's no ITTF approval as such on the blade. So you don't have to have a blade that's stamped with ITTF approval. You can just make your own homemade blade. We'll put a link up to the rule about the specifications of the wood. So it has to be mainly wood, so you can't make it out of other materials. And there's also the thicknesses and the composition of, if you're using things like carbon in there. So I imagine if you're making your own blade, you're not going to be putting carbon layers in there. So if you're using just a straight wood ply, you can make your own blade and give it a try. And the reason for this is that the wood doesn't make that much of a difference, as does the rubber. So we know that the rubber needs the ITTF approval, and it needs the numbers and all that sort of thing on there. But the wood, the blade doesn't need anything. So yeah, go for it. Try and make your own.
Indeed. And I think from memory, Alice, it's something like 85% of the blade needs to be wood. But I'm thinking there's no way that in a competition the umpires are really going to be able to tell, oh, hold on, yours is only 70% wood. It's kind of an interesting rule.
It is an interesting rule. And yeah, how do you police that when it's a homemade blade? Not sure.
Yeah. But anyway, as you said, it's not a real big problem. So, if you want to make your own blade, go for it, Yunge. And as Alice said, we'll put a link to the exact rule in the show notes. All right, Arsene has asked a question. He said, what is the proper way of cleaning the table if it gets dust on it?
Yeah, so just wiping it with a dry cloth first to just get the dust off. If you're starting to find that you're getting little marks on there and little oily spots and things, just use a really weak detergent solution. So just put a bit of soap in some just warm water. Don't put too much detergent. Don't make it too hot. And then just wipe the table over and then dry it off. So if you do that, you'll get some of the extra layers of sweat and that sort of thing that have built up on the table. You'll be able to get that off. So yeah, fairly simple procedure. Don't use anything too harsh. Depending on your table and the paint on it and all that sort of thing as well. Yeah, just wipe it down with warm soapy water with just a weak solution of the detergent.
Yeah, and I guess, as you said, just dry it off quickly. You don't want to leave the water on the table.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Next question is from Chris. And Chris says, when I watch matches of Wang Hao versus Juicy Hook, it seems he ignores the backspin because he can get a very fast loop and looks like his blade is at a closed angle. Does he do this by using a lot of power, and can amateurs use this method?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so we do often see, the better players, they've got their bat on that angle, and even against Juicy Hook, who's putting a lot of backspin on the ball, they're doing that to lift the ball over the net. The key there is that they are getting such high speeds with their racket and such accuracy with their contact that they can do that. Even Bowl, we see Bowl has a very closed racket and comes over the ball when he's playing against backspin. So that is okay if you're playing regularly, if you're doing a lot of training, training every day, and you've developed such high speed with your swing so that you can swing through that fast to be able to lift that backspin ball over and get it up over the net. But it's a very difficult stroke, and it's not something that we recommend you try to learn, especially initially. That's why we teach the topspin finishing up here, because it gives you much better margin for error to lift that ball up and over the net. This is for the very, very, very strong players that are playing, professionally, play every day, and can develop such high speed and accuracy to just get that contact right every time. I mean, that's why Wang Hao's loop is so amazing, and a lot of the top players in the world look so fantastic when they're playing that topspin because they're getting such high speed and accuracy with the contact.
Yeah, that's a good point, Alice. But I think also the way we teach it, you can just progress to faster strokes pretty easily.
Yeah, that's right. So once you learn that basic stroke and develop that confidence by contacting the ball and lifting it there, you can start to increase the speed by, if I do it this way, just finishing a little bit further in front of you. So rather than finishing here now, for the lifting ball, you can start to finish a little bit further and a little bit further forward, and that gives you more of a forward momentum and extra speed as well.
Yeah, and we've got some videos on the advanced forehand topspin for our premium members, which we'll put in the show notes. And so that is a good segue into a little bit of promotion for PingSkills. Visit the website, pingskills.com. Sign up for our free newsletter. You'll get lots of information. Last night we sent out an email newsletter letting everyone know about our new forehand flick in HD video. So if you haven't seen that, take a look. And if you're not signed up, sign up to our free newsletter. Also check out our premium membership. Got lots of great videos. There's a whole series on serving, whole series on receiving, two important parts of the game. We've got a 52-week training plan, which all our premium members love. Each week we give you a new training guide, and associated with that is a masterclass every week. So it really helps you improve. If you haven't, go to pingskills.com and check out the premium membership. All right, Alois. Next question is from Dieter, who says, what do you advise in terms of training between seasons? A special program, more of the same, a few weeks rest? And how about in Dieter's particular situation?
Yeah, so firstly, it's a really good opportunity in that off season because you're not playing competitive matches to really develop some of the basics of your game and to also work on the weaknesses. So things that you've been finding problems with during the season, that's the best time to think about improving those areas. So, for example, your return of serve might be a little bit weaker. So during that off season, it's a great time to just practice and experiment with your return of serve and try to get that a lot better. So the other thing that you can start to think about is also working on your fitness and your general conditioning. During the season, often because you're playing every week, you don't have enough time to train physically hard, to develop your body. So that's a really good time to be able to take a big chunk of your training and develop physically as well. So utilizing that off season is critical because that's the time then you can start to really build your game. And then once you get into the season, then it's a matter of maintenance and just tweaking some of the little things that you can improve during the season, with more of your gameplay type of things. So yeah, utilize that off season. If you get an off season, utilize it to develop your game, work on your weaknesses, and also on your general conditioning as well.
Excellent. All right. It's great to hear that you're thinking about these things, Dieter, and take on board some of those tips, and hopefully you can use that time to really improve your game. Very good. Well, that wraps up episode 114 of the Ask the Coach Show. I'm Jeff Plum, and Supercoach Alois Rosario has answered all your questions. Thank you, Alois.
Thanks, Jeff. And I'll be few late nights and early mornings watching some world championships over the next week or so. So make sure you tune into it. Why is watching the best players in the world good? Because it gives you really good images in your head of how strokes should be played and the things that are possible in the game. So so really tune in, watch as much as you can, and get some great images into your head.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we will be back again with another show tomorrow. Catch you then. Bye.